over here. California, it's crazy weather. Hey yo, what's up? Welcome to Mystic Whisper Podcast, and I'm your host, Nicole Gaspard. Never mind my crazy mic setup. It just won't work today for some reason. I mean, it's working, but it won't adjust for me. And I'm live on TikTok. If y'all want to head over here on TikTok, that would be cool. So, yeah, I'm wearing my summer attire. You know, it's real hot, almost in the night. It's up in the 90s, almost 100. So, it's summer. So, I don't have to worry about chat if we're not live on YouTube. Sometimes I go live on YouTube or TikTok. I'm live on TikTok. So, this is giving you guys a taste of what we do. So, welcome to Mystic Whisper Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Gaspard. Tonight we travel into one of Chicago's strangest forgotten legends. A story whispered between cemetery caretakers, night security guards, police officers, taxi drivers, you name it, and investigators alike. Those unfortunate enough to witness, or fortunate enough to witness, in my case it would be fortunate, I'm just weird, but to witness something they could ever explain. Like, imagine driving down an empty street, right? And at night, and you glance toward a vacant lot, or is it vacant? And suddenly, there it stands, an enormous Victorian, mansion. Sorry, I'm a writer too, so. Yeah, but in case you're new here, I'm a religious demonologist, writer, all of this stuff, and broadcaster for many years. And so they don't really know, I don't think they don't really know the origin or what style the house might be. So I'm just writing here, just imagining this house as a Victorian mansion, okay? That's my favorite 1800 style home. Anyway, it's enormous, windows glow with candlelight, and smoke rises from the chimney, right? Someone is standing at an upstairs windows, watching you. They're watching. So, the next morning, the house is gone. Completely vanished, if you will. No foundation, no debris, nothing but weeds. Was it a time slip? It could have been. It could have been a time slip. Coffee with you here. Or was it a ghost house? Could have been. A doorway through time. Missed time or time slips. Or is Chicago really hiding a house that refuses to remain buried? But tonight, folks, step through its front door if you dare. So for some holy water, you might need it. And your favorite blanket, let's go if you don't need it. We don't need them out here. But anyway, welcome to part one. We called it a city built upon ghosts. Chicago, windy city, has always carried an unusable energy, if you will. And it's a city rebuilt after the Great Fire. And countless cemeteries moved, probably not the bodies. There you go. And historic homes erased. Many paranormal investigators believe places like this don't simply disappear or vanish without a trace. Some leave behind some residue, maybe. Might be a residual haunting. Right? And they leave behind impressions, echoes, residual memories. Residual haunting is like what I like to describe as stuck energy, time loop, where they replay over and 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 over, like a broken record, right? And what I like call stuck energy. Residual memories burn into the landscape. And the other type of haunting is poltergeist and ultimately demonic, which is rare. Oh, something right here today too. A little better. So locals claim they have long shared stories of a mysterious mansion. So there's a mansion. What was Victorian? We don't know. I just made it up. I'm a writer, so it's a mysterious mansion appearing only during certain nights, right? So why on certain nights? Let's find out. Especially during this fall. Oh, the Miss Stephen King comes to mind. The fall. Anyway, heavy rain, or just near Halloween. I got my Halloween bracelet I made. Some say it has existed over 100 years ago at one time. Others insist the house never truly existed at all. It's just our imagination. Or is it our imagination? Isn't it a cute mug? I had to get it. Anyway, welcome to part 2. We called it The Caretaker, and this is my first time reading it. And it says, our story begins in the late 1940s. Right? A cemetery caretaker, let's call Thomas, worked night shift beside one of Chicago's oldest graveyards. Every evening around midnight, he noticed something unusual. Which can never, right? Across the street stood an old Victorian home. It appeared abandoned. Or was it? Yet every night, lights flickered inside. He assumed someone had purchased it. And so weeks passed, right? And one rainy morning, he mentioned it to another groundskeeper. Then the man frowned. There isn't a house over there, he said. Thomas laughed, and he pointed. Nothing. Only an empty lot. Maybe there was something there at one point in time, but not now. Not at present. That evening, the mansion, guess what? It returned. As if it never left. It returned. So, 3 stories. Black iron fence, broken stained glass, dead vines crawling across the porch, a swing moving without the wind. So every midnight, the front door slowly opened. No one dared to enter. No one left. Right? Welcome to part 3, segment 3. And we called it The Woman in White. I might as well call it The Lady in White. Let's call it Lady in White. Yeah. One October evening, he writes, Thomas decided curiosity had won. Right? Something about that curiosity, right? So he crossed the street. The closer he walked, the colder the air became. He climbed the front steps. Was you? Was you do the DoorDash thing? Remember those DoorDash pranks, whatever you call them? I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna stay on the steps. But the door just suddenly stood open as if inviting him. I don't like the word invite, but I just did it for story. Inside, he noticed silence. Whoa, was he went inside? Silence. No dust, no cobwebs. Not even cobwebs? Man, must be a ghostly maid or something. But furniture sat perfectly arranged. A grandfather clock tick-tock. Anyway, my great-grandparents had one of those. That was pretty cool. Then footsteps upstairs. Slow, measured, deliberate. He called out, "Hello!" Let's say do. Hello! As if he were expected to hear, "Hello?" I find that very hilarious. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ruin the story. But whenever investigators go, "Hello," in the darkness, we expect something. Sometimes you might get an answer, but I just find that funny. But anyway, he called out, "Hey, no answer." Oh well, and he brushed it off. Only another step, then another, phantom footsteps. He reached the staircase. Standing at the top was a woman dressed entirely in white. Remember the movie Lady in White? Kind of reminds me of that. Anyway, she smiled, creepy smile. Then whispered, "You've come back. You've come back." And Thomas had never seen her before or since. Yet somehow she spoke as though she known him forever. But when he blinked, he found himself standing alone outside. How did he get outside, he wondered. In an empty field. And once again, the house gone, vanished into the night, into the fog. How's that for a creepy story? Whew. Alrighty. Here we are at chapter 4 of listeners' experiences, we call it. Let's hear from one of our listeners. And they write, "Nicole, my grandfather drove a taxi in Chicago. Hey, from Chicago during the 1960s, right? One night they said he picked up an elderly woman. Guess who? Wasn't her, let's find out. She asked to be taken to a large Victorian home. So it might be her. I'm so glad I'm not a taxi driver. I knew someone close to the family, she was a taxi driver. Yeah. Oh, anyway, he drove to the address. There was nothing there. Or he thought. The woman calmly stepped out anyway. She walked towards the empty lot. Hey, I wonder if she paid the driver. It doesn't say. Halfway across, she simply, guess what? Disappeared. And when a grandpa looked in the rearview mirror, no footprints remained in the snow. Would you follow? Here's another one, and I'll wrap up here for TikTok. We called it the children. Well, let's call them black-eyed children. So it says they're popular. Several urban explorers reported hearing children, whether they're black-eyed or not, They were laughing near the abandoned property. No children were ever seen, only voices. Marbles rolling on bouncing balls. Sometimes small muddy footprints would appear, bleeding into the frost, never backing out. Alright, let's do part 6. I can talk today, sorry. Paranormal investigations. Years later, a ghost hunting group didn't say what they were called. Investigated. Equipment included, basic EMF meters, beer boxes, thermal cameras, digital recorders. The lot remained empty. I guess you have to be there at the exact time and place. You know what that would be? A residual haunting. If you're at the right time in the right place, the might can see it because it's residual haunting. That energy. I don't think the spirits are necessarily stuck, but it could be just the energy. So I have a theory about crossing over spirits. If they're already in spirit, they already crossed over. You don't have to be a psychic to figure that out. But I did. So, y'all, thank you for joining me today to talk, and I'll be back next week with more stories. If you have a story to share, feel free to write to us, and our special email is paranormalwhispers@gmail.com. And then TikTok know that I had ended there. There's no one watching anyway, so I tried. Every day like that. So, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, the investigation. Beer boxes, thermal cameras, digital recorders. The lot remained empty. At exactly 12:13 a.m., witching hour, all camera froze. Batteries level dropped instantly. And when that happens, they're draining the equipment and yourself if you let them. That's what we need to go in with expert protection. So as grounding. That's why I stop a lot of investigations, because it just drained the hell out of me. But anyway, I never turn down anyone who needs help though. One investigator looked through a thermal scope, and guess what they found? There stood the outline of a 3-story mansion, invisible to the naked eye, but not through a lens. Visible only through infrared lens. Right? I think it shows cold or hot spot. I can't remember which. Comment below, let me know. And if you're new here, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. And I want to thank our sponsors who we haven't heard off yet, I'd like to say. Dream TV Network. So if anyone were to ask me, Nicole, where you ever on TV? I'd be like, hell yeah, we got our own channel. Dream TV Network. Check them out, guys. So, yep. In a spirit box, both. That's what it said. Welcome home. Are you serious? It's both the spirit box. They probably use the ESP7. Or they can use the ESP11. And it said, welcome home. I'd be like, oh, not long, bye. Sure. Anyway, I think I do better with coffee. So, here's another part of our show. Part 7. We're getting close to the end. The Forgotten Fire, we call it. The local folklore tells of a wealthy family who lived there during the 1800s. Why am I doing this? Kind of weird. But one stormy evening, the home actually caught fire. Maybe the lady was in there and she didn't know and burned to death in the fire. That's my 2 cents. So the neighbors claim every family member is dead. Others insisted no bodies were ever found. City records temporarily listed the property as demolished. Yet no demolished photographs existed. I didn't call it demolition. Say that 5 times. The photographs never existed. Only silence. Again, graveyard. Anyway, here we are, part 8, listener story number 2. And they write, Nicole, my brother and I were teenagers exploring abandoned neighborhoods. We photographed an old mansion. The next morning, the entire roll of film contained only an empty field, except one photograph, and a woman standing at an upstairs window, probably where she perished. There was no house, only her. Ooh. I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting chill already. Thank you for writing it. Here's another one, the graveyard connection, we called it. Some paranormal researchers believe the mansion isn't attached to the land, but to nearby spirits. My theory is it could be both. It could be both the land and the spirits. So, every appearance reportedly follows funerals, storms, or unusual cemetery activity, Several caretakers have reported hearing a piano. And I that one right behind me. Wouldn't it be cool if it started playing on its own? And now it's not a player pianos. Remember those old-fashioned player pianos that we might see at a bar or saloon? They're quite cool. I got to see one in a saloon one. And anyway, others smell roses. Many describe seeing a lantern light moving among the gravestone before the mansion slowly materializes. Here, cold, scare, facing the brick wall. Kind of like what you do putting time out for children, right? Um, Investigators claim strange writing appears there, names, dates, and so forth. Some belonging to people, still alive. Still alive. But where is the question? Or actually, when are they still alive? What time period? Anyway, if you were to go to this house and you were brave enough to enter it with you, I think I would. But as long as I know I'm able to get back to my time period. But even that would be kind of cool to time travel. Anyway. Listener story number 3. These are kind of short, so I'll just run through them. I saw my own name 20 years later. Yeah, 20 years later. And my father passed away on that date. Whoa. Here are some more theories that we come up with. Could this be, like I was saying earlier, it could be a residual haunting. And here's another one. A dimensional time slip is where time overlaps. Dimensional slip. Time slip. Portal, whatever you want to call it. Like Bigfoot, right? Bigfoot can just get their portal is on. That's why we don't see them, because they're always time slipping from portals. Anyway, it's a place existing between life and death, beyond the veil. Or something far stranger. A house searching for a new resident. Ooh! I don't know about you, but I've got chills already. Here we are, the final story, I promise. And it says, first time reading it, one security officer was working at a nearby warehouse. Here it is. And he writes, at 3 a.m., what is it about 3? The 3? Nothing at 3? It's the mocking of the Trinity. Alright, guys? Anyway, 3 a.m., his patrol route always overlooked the empty lot. One winter night, the man soon returned. Every window closed, its eerie glow. Music drifted through the fog. Remember earlier, it has a piano. And dozens of people danced inside, like just imagine a scene from the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland. They're doing that scene. My favorite part, anyway. On that ride. Everyone stopped simultaneously. Every face turned toward him. Not the ride, the real Haunted Mansion. They might as well call it the real Haunted Mansion. They were smiling toward him. The lights went dark. And get this. After the lights went dark, the house dissolved back into the mist. He resigned the next day. I don't blame him one bit. I do not blame him one bit. If you're not into this sort of thing, yeah. But you know what? Just because he resigned that day, he could go to another place and have the same things happen. He could go to another place because I think my theory is spirits are everywhere. So we can't escape it. I'm sorry, we can't escape. We can't escape reality. What if we can? What if we can? There are various few places that allows where we can escape reality. Not by unaliving. No, not like that. But there is an 800 number for that, which I'll disclose at the end of the broadcast because I've mentioned death, murder, live, whatever, in this episode. So what do you believe? If you found yourself driving through Chicago at a forgotten Victoria Mansion suddenly appears for you. Would you stop? I would, because I'm curiosity type. Because, you know, curiosity can pull you in that direction. You know, and or would you keep driving? Never looking back. Sometimes that's the only thing to do. Don't look back. Wasn't it a story in the Bible where God said, "Don't look back"? And then Samora. But so I can't remember the exact story title. And where somebody looked back and a Lord turned him into dust. Statues. There's still statues right there. Because they look back. As is natural thing to do as humans, we are curious and we find that why can't we go through that creepy tunnel? Why can't we go up that haunted house? That would mean what are they hiding in there? If someone were to say, don't go in that creepy attic, you know what I'm going? To that creepy attic. Even though it creeps the hell out of me. I would still do it. I would. That's just me. But don't follow my example. Have you been in the field as long as I have, 20 years plus? And you have a lot of experiences. You know there's something there. Right? You just know. You have that inner knowing. You just know. Right? So some places aren't totally abandoned. They just reappear and appear. Maybe because it's a right to do hunting. Or maybe it's waiting to be remembered. Or to be simply acknowledged and move on. Like my first ghostly operation. But somehow, after I seen him, he followed me. And then we got this incredible EVP saying from another ghost, female ghost, saying, "Stop it, Frank. Stop it, Frank. You know how his jealous wife and girlfriend said? Stop it, Frank." Because I was asking who was messing with my hair all day. And then we heard from another ghost saying that. Isn't that hilarious? Stop it, Frank. Man, if you guys can find that video, that would be awesome. Please do. Please tag me. We'll be trying to find that forever. Anyway. Yeah, so you might ask, aren't you afraid to follow you home? They'll follow me from anywhere. I mean, this one followed me from my former workplace. You don't have to be from some dark cemetery. Anyway, so thank you all for joining me, Mystics, on another mystic journey into the unknown. If you ever experienced something unexplained, phantom house, a ghostly or UFO encounter, strange lights in the cemetery, or story passed down through generations from your family, we love to hear from you. And your experiences can be featured in a future episode of And Don't Forget to Like, Mystic Whisper Podcast. Until next time, keep your eyes open, keep your faith closed, and remember, not every whisper comes from the living. Right? And stay weird. We like weird. Stay weird. And I'm your lovely host, Nicole Gaspard, signing off. And this has been another Mystic Whispers podcast. I've lost count. I literally lost count of all the videos we've done over 6 years. I'm still growing. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Sleep well if you can. Thank you, Mystics, and good night. Oh no. No. Don't know.